I would like you to tell you about the work that is done by the Center for Democratizing Information, CDI. My name is Milani. I'm one of the founding members of the center. If I firstly have to explain maybe what we are trying to change. The one thing that we always see is the misrepresentation of poor people, or the one-sided representation of poor people in the media. You often see poor people in media and news programs when they are either absolutely devastated by their losses, by things that has happened that has put their lives in even a worse predicament. On the other side, you often see poor people in media when they are rioting, when they are so frustrated by things that has gone wrong, by service delivery issues, by promises that has not been kept, by programs that has fallen apart. And at the end, the only way for them to make their voice heard is actually then to go into protest, where you mostly see really seriously angry people trying to fight for their rights. And often people look at that thinking, what would people accomplish? But if you have no other way to create a dialogue between stakeholders who seriously influence your development and yourself, then how else to go but to go towards either devastation, which attracts a lot of attention, or on the other side, service delivery issues. People might think, but how in the world is there not a different way? But when you look at how research budgets are spent in the world, as mostly research money are spent in developed markets. Even in a developing country like South Africa, you will find that almost 70% of the research budget is spent in the top 7-8 million people of the country, where 43 million people are basically represented by 30% of the research budget being spent. Now obviously in those cases it's very difficult to develop an understanding of what people actually want. So what we've been trying to do is, over the last couple of years, we've been having a look at community-based participatory research methodologies combined with research methodologies in contextual understanding. So what we do is we go into underdeveloped areas and develop relationships with these areas, where we screen and train unemployed people in the community to work in an ongoing information network that brings information out of these communities in exchange for income. The information, as it comes out continuously, looks at various subjects, people's access to resources, how people convert resources into different futures, people's education, people's health, their economic status, their usage of financial services, their technology usage, because it gives us so many points of access into those communities. And then we have a look at how we use that information to paint holistic pictures of the lives people are living in these areas. What we are trying to accomplish is we are trying to create a better understanding of upward mobility and almost a nuanced understanding of poverty. We are not going to solve poverty issues by having standardized or more homogeneous programs or slight adaptations per community. We have to consider the voice of the community as well. And through the program, what we've seen is we are able to understand upward mobility. But more than that, because the basis of the program actually lies within the community, we are able to generate better community participation, where people learn about their own communities, information that is not that part of their lives anymore, as people have become more individualistic in general, are suddenly shared, and they realize that person's problem or this person's business or that connection that can be made. And these information networks then becomes a dialogue inside the community, but also between the community and the stakeholders that are serving this community. We are using different tools in order to do that, which is obviously not cast in stone, and we are also learning as we are going along. On the one side, we use structured research, where we are focused quite a lot on Amartya Sen's capabilities approach. As the most important thing, we believe, is the understanding of how people convert resource into different types of futures. Often in programs we believe if we give people a certain resource, they will definitely have a better life. But that has been proven incorrect many times. As many resources has been spent and not really created anything, and in the worst cases obviously creating dependency on the side of the community and definitely not empowerment. So it's the structured part of the program. On the other side, we are putting together a lot of ideas and pilots around citizen journalism. Because we are running these information networks, for example, during the pilot phase of the actual research, the community-based research, we trained more than 500 people across the country that act as information agents that bring information out of these communities. Now, if these people also are able to upload their own ideas, unstructured, whatever they want to share with us in a given day, to say, look at this baby's birth, look at this beautiful wedding, look at this sad funeral, look at this service delivery strike, look at this service delivery failure, look at these queues that I'm standing in, many things that people may want to share with us that we maybe did not think about asking. Because that has been, I think, one of the biggest learnings for us in the entire process of putting together the work of CDI, is understanding in development that we must be very careful of thinking that we are looking for the answer if we are often looking for the question. Because if we get the question right, and we can via that unpack the true realities of the communities we are dealing with, then surely we were able to develop better relationships, more appropriate programs, more appropriate and relevant products and services that can serve the needs of people living in less developed parts of our world. Over the last year, we've started engaging with Adsila. That has been an amazing adventure for us, a learning experience for us. In the beginning, they shared so much of their own experience, projects they've been on that we've never seen before, documentation. I mean, just the idea of developing proposals that fit into certain spaces in the world. If you've never seen it before, how are you supposed to actually develop something to the standard that they were able to show us? They are also helping us at the moment to develop a social business plan to look at the funding of the project that we are running. As one of the biggest problems of the funding of the project we are running is that as soon as somebody pays for the information we are generating, traditionally they also own the information. And information is power. I don't think you would disagree with me in that. But as soon as information is used from a power basis, it's also slanted. It's given through a lens that is justifying the cause that people want to use it for. And it's not necessarily a true reflection of what the community want. So Adsila has the courage to help us to look at how do you create independent sources of information that is more true reflections of the realities of people living in underdeveloped areas. They're very open about the risks that we will face and about how we can mitigate those risks and bring additions to quality control and making sure the information will be democratized. That's in the end of the day the name, the Center for Democratizing Information. Looking for platforms, linking us to technology. So as we are running from community to community often running out of time, they come back on a literally weekly basis to either send articles, reports, ideas, just a message to say hello, I hope you are doing well. It's also really appreciated in a lot of cases. But on the other side, also becoming the custodians of part of the business side of it. And we have to make sure that CDI can become sustainable, as we do believe that the model can be rolled out through Africa and developing countries as an alternative to traditional research that can better address the needs of our markets.